So Black History Month to me means that we get the opportunity to celebrate everything that we love about being Black, being British, and the history that comes with it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. However, I still do believe that Black History Month should be celebrated every day.
Yeah.
As someone who's been able to just celebrate the achievements of family and friends, peers, it shouldn't just be for like 1 month. But it is great and it is nice to be acknowledged for our achievements. I would say just continue to flourish and don't allow people or obstacles to get in the way of achieving your dreams. Sometimes as Black people, especially as Black women, we suffer from imposter syndrome. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in that because sometimes people tell us, well, you're too loud, you're too boisterous. Like, why have you always got to be just here, there, and everywhere? Whereas Black women shouldn't have their light dimmed by anyone just because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So I would always just say, continue to shine, continue to flourish, and continue to show off, show the world just how talented you really are. Yeah, I think there's definitely been loads of moments of empowerment. Probably knowing what I've gone through to win each medal in my career. There's always a story behind winning each medal because it was never straightforward. It was never just a straight line. There was always bumps on the road in order to get there, in order to win that medal, in order to achieve those high accolades. So as much as I had to go through that resilience in order to get those medals, in order to achieve that level of success, I really don't want to have to go through that again. I learned a lot by being resilient, but I also, now I've come out of the sport and now I'm retired and just I'm taking care of myself in a different way. And I know I don't have to be resilient anymore. I think resilient is always framed in a way where Black women always told, oh, you're always strong, you're always powerful, you're always resilient, you always have to be. Whereas I'm tired of that trope and I'm tired of being attached to those particular words because we want soft life. You know, we want to be able to just get taken care of. We want to be able to be treated just as equally as everyone else without having to deal with the sufferings that come with it. I have a few. So I think within track and field, it probably be one of them is Denise Lewis. So I mentioned her in my book. So Denise Lewis, I just remember watching her when I was young, just kind of coming into the sport, just learning about athletics. And I remember specifically watching her win Olympic gold in Sydney in the heptathlon. And it was just incredible because, you know, she's someone who looks like you. She's someone who is a huge inspiration, even as I developed in the sport. And she's just great. She's got amazing personality and she's just wonderful. Even now, she does a lot for the sport. You know, she's the vice president of Team England from the recent Commonwealth Games that we just had. So she still has a massive impact on the sport. And then outside of that, probably the biggest one within the last 20 years, I would say, would be Serena Williams. So Serena Williams and her sister Venus, they both defied the odds when they were, you know, consistently stacked up against them. And they went on to be like multiple upon multiple Grand Slam winners. And even with Serena's recent retirement with 23 Grand Slams, still such an amazing achievement for her to have. Because in this era, there's not many people can say that they've been able to achieve that. And I don't think we're likely to see that again for another maybe 10, 20 years, in my opinion anyway. I don't think we're going to see that for a long time. When I look back on the achievements that both Serena and Venus had on the sport, but also as a young Black girl, it made you feel seen and it made you feel like you can achieve those things as well. In terms of struggling to write the book, I think just probably being very honest about some personal issues, some personal things that I'd gone through that I hadn't really spoken about with anyone. Those are the scary parts. But I think the good thing is that I was very well supported. So I had my close unit of friends who were aware that I was writing the book, and they were aware of one or two things that I'd gone through. And they were just there to help. Like, you know, if I couldn't sleep properly, then I'd be calling them in the middle of the night and they'd be awake, or we'd just be sending voice notes back and forth. Or they would always just be such a huge part of my story, because those are the types of people who helped shape me and just always encouraged me to tell my story, tell the truth, and tell it in your own words. And then having the opportunity to work with Jonathan Drennan, who helped me write the book as well. He's just been incredible just to work with. And you know, it's not easy when you're meeting someone, but you haven't met them face to face, because the book was written over Zoom. We just have writing sessions every few days, or every day, 4 times a week for like 3-4 months. And it was draining for the both of us, but we just continued to pursue. And then to add to that, Jonathan was in Australia at the time, so there was a massive time difference. But we were just as focused, just as determined. And he really loved my story, and he wanted to tell it exactly how I wanted it to be told. So yeah, just having him was such a huge, it made such a massive difference when people who want to get involved actually want to see the book do well. I would probably say that I think if you've read the book, or if you're in the process of buying the book, which I hope everyone is, like, I achieved everything despite what I had to go through. So, you know, I wouldn't want to go through that again. But there was a lot of fight, there was a lot of challenges, a lot of adversities, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. But I also, there's certain things I would have changed in order to get there, but it was an incredible career I had in the sport. And I'm so grateful for the career that I did have. And I'm just so happy by the fact that I've been able to have this opportunity to tell the book in my own words. So it doesn't matter what you're going through, whether you can relate to whatever resonates in a particular chapter, the racism, the suicide attempt, the sexual assault, body image issues, you know, missing training to go and see Jamiroquai, whatever it may be. I hope the biggest takeaway is that people understand what it's like to compete at this highest level, because you really don't know what people are going through. So I hope I've been able to shed light on some of the inside, in-depth stories that happen in an athlete's career.